My name's Lauren Mitchell. I'm 32 years old, and I never thought the woman who gave me life would turn the world against me with one post. It started on a quiet Sunday morning, the kind where you wake up late, make coffee, and scroll through your phone without thinking. Only this time, I didn't even make it to the kitchen. My screen was already exploding. Hundreds of notifications, tags, messages, and missed calls. My aunt, my coworker, even people I hadn't spoken to in years. Every message had my name in it. Some angry, some concerned, but they all asked the same question. How could you do that to your own mother? My stomach twisted. I hadn't spoken to my mom in weeks. We'd had a small argument, or so I thought, and I'd been giving her space. But as I clicked the first tag, I froze. Her face filled the screen, red-eyed and trembling, tears rolling down as she said, "I never wanted to share this, but I'm broken. My daughter abandoned me." Thousands of comments flooded under it. "You deserve better, Mama." No parent should go through this. Shame on her. Her followers multiplied by the hour. Local pages reposted her video with captions like, "Heartbreaking story of a neglected mother." And my name, my actual name, was everywhere. I remember standing there, barefoot on the cold kitchen tile, my coffee untouched, my hands shaking, because I knew exactly what she was talking about. I knew every detail of that story, except it wasn't true. Not even close. Everyone was comforting her. Everyone was defending her. And no one, not a single person, knew the truth I had kept quiet for years. The screenshots. The messages. The proof. Before I tell you what happened next, you need to understand the kind of family I come from. Or at least, the version of it my mom always wanted the world to see. Her name is Linda Mitchell. She's 57, and she's the kind of woman people instantly trust. Soft voice, floral dresses, always the first to bring a casserole to a neighbor in need. Growing up, everyone called her the sweetest woman in town, and I believed it too, until I learned that sweetness can sometimes be a mask. My dad left when I was 15. He didn't cheat, didn't vanish, he just couldn't handle my mom anymore. She had a way of twisting every situation until she became the victim, and everyone else became the villain. Even after he left, she'd say things like, "Your father abandoned us, Lauren. We only have each other now." And that became her favorite line. I also have a younger brother, Evan, who's 28. He's the peacekeeper, the one who avoids confrontation at all costs. He loves Mom, but he's always been blind to her manipulation. If she cried, he apologized, even when she was the one who caused the fight. Our family gatherings were always full of tension disguised as laughter. My mom would smile for photos, then whisper cutting remarks under her breath when no one was listening. She'd post those photos later, captioning them with things like, "Family, no matter what happens, love always wins." That was her thing. Turning moments into performances, turning pain into posts. When she discovered social media during the pandemic, it was like giving fire to someone who'd always loved playing with matches. Suddenly, she wasn't just a mother. She was a relatable mom influencer. Her videos about being a strong single mom started getting shares, comments, validation. And once that attention started coming in, she wasn't satisfied with reality anymore. She needed drama. She needed a villain. And somehow I became the perfect one. It started over something small. It always does with my mom. She called one evening, her voice trembling, the way it always did when she wanted something. "Lauren, honey, the roof's leaking again. I can't sleep knowing water's dripping above my bed." I offered to call a contractor, maybe help her get an estimate. But she didn't want that. She wanted money, cash, transferred directly to her account. I had already helped her twice that year, once for her car repairs, another time for medical bills that turned out to be lip fillers. When I told her I couldn't keep bailing her out, her tone flipped instantly. From fragile to furious. "So now you're too good to help your own mother?" She snapped. "Mom, it's not that," I tried to explain. "You said you were fine last week." "Fine?" She interrupted, voice rising. "Do you even know what fine means?" "Of course you don't. You live your perfect little life while I rot alone in this house." I hung up before I said something I'd regret. It wasn't the first time she'd guilt-tripped me, but this one hurt differently. Because deep down, I could feel something shifting, like she was preparing to make me pay for setting a boundary. 3 days later, I found out how. A friend from high school sent me a message. Hey, is everything okay with your mom? Her post is everywhere. My heart sank before I even opened it. There it was, a long Facebook post written like a confession. My mom's words blurred as I read them. No one deserves to be treated like garbage by their own child. I gave her everything, but now I sit alone, wondering what I did wrong. Please just send prayers. I'm heartbroken. Hundreds of people had already shared it. Her eyes looked red and swollen in the picture. She must have cried on purpose. Comments poured in. You raised her alone. She owes you better. Some kids forget their blessings. I scrolled and scrolled until I saw the worst part. A line that felt like a knife. I never thought my daughter would become just like her father. That's when I realized it wasn't a cry for help. It was an execution, and she'd chosen the internet as her firing squad. At first, I tried to ignore it. I told myself it would blow over, that people would eventually move on to the next viral sob story. But my mom wasn't just telling a story. She was feeding it. Every day she posted new updates about how I had cut her off and refused to answer her calls. She'd go live while fake crying, telling her followers she was trying to stay strong. She showed old pictures of me as a kid, captioning them with things like, "She used to love me once." It was emotional warfare, and she was winning. Within a week, she'd gone from a few hundred followers to tens of thousands. Strangers called her brave, inspirational, the mother of the year. Some even sent her money through online donations. Meanwhile, I couldn't open my phone without seeing my name in some hate comment thread. Unbelievable how some daughters turn out. She deserves to be disowned. What kind of monster abandons her mom? My boss even pulled me into her office one morning. She looked uncomfortable, like she didn't know what to say. "Lauren, I'm sorry to bring this up, but there's been chatter online about your family. Maybe you should stay off social media for a bit." I walked out of that office shaking. I wanted to scream, to tell everyone the truth. But part of me still wanted to protect her. That's the thing about emotional abuse. It trains you to keep the peace, even when you're bleeding inside. But she pushed too far. One night, I saw a new post, a photo of her standing outside the grocery store, holding a sign that said, "Even your own child can break your heart." It had over 50,000 shares. Something in me broke. I opened my notes app and started typing. No theatrics. No long explanations. Just screenshots, text messages where she guilt-tripped me, mocked me for not sending money, bragged about lying to followers to get more engagement. Then I posted them, quietly, no caption, no emotion, just the truth. Within an hour, the comment section turned into a war zone. Some still defended her, but others began asking questions. Why would she lie about this? These texts look real. Something's not adding up. For the first time in weeks, I felt the tiniest bit of air in my lungs, but I knew this wasn't over, not even close. Because what I hadn't shared yet, the secret that would destroy everything, was still waiting. The morning after I posted the screenshots, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing, but this time, it wasn't just hate. It was confusion, shock, doubt. Half the comments under my mom's videos had vanished. She was deleting anything that questioned her story. The rest were a mess of arguments. People who had once called her a saint were now asking, "Why are you ignoring your daughter's receipts?" Others defended her blindly, saying, "Anyone can fake screenshots." Then she went live again. I watched from my car during my lunch break, hands trembling around a cup of cold coffee. She looked straight into the camera, voice cracking just enough to sound believable. "People are trying to destroy me," she said. "Even my own daughter is editing messages to make me look bad. I don't know why she hates me." And then, the tears. Always the tears. Her followers flooded the chat with hearts and prayers. I sat there, numb, watching her rewrite our entire history like it was a movie she directed. By the next day, my brother called. "Lauren, please stop," he begged. "You're making things worse." "She's lying, Evan," I whispered. "You've seen it." "Yeah, but she's mom. You know how she is. Just let it go before it gets uglier." But it was already ugly. Later that night, I got a DM from a woman named Sandra. She said she recognized my mom's voice from somewhere. a private grief support group on Facebook. Then she sent screenshots. My mom had stolen entire stories, word for word, from real women in that group who'd lost children, husbands, even homes. She changed a few details and made them her own for sympathy. I felt my heart drop into my stomach. This wasn't just manipulation anymore. It was exploitation. Sandra added one more thing. Your mom also used fake accounts to comment under her own posts. Same grammar, same phrases. I tracked the IPs. It's her. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in the dark, scrolling through everything. The lies, the stolen words, the fake comments. And that's when I knew what I had to do. This wasn't about defending myself anymore. It was about stopping her. I opened my laptop and started piecing together everything, videos, texts, and screenshots, into one post that no one could ignore. Truth was ready to come out, and I was done protecting her. Uploaded the video at 9:42 p.m. My hands were shaking so badly that I almost dropped my phone. It wasn't polished or edited, just me sitting in my apartment, looking straight into the camera, holding years of exhaustion in my eyes. For a moment, I almost didn't hit post. I thought about the fallout, the guilt, the endless messages that would follow. But then I thought of all the nights I'd cried alone, trying to understand how love could feel like a trap, and I pressed upload. The video started simply, "My name is Lauren Mitchell, and I never wanted this to be public. But my mother made her lies public, and now, this is my truth." Then I played the voice notes. My mom's voice filled the silence, laughing, mocking her followers, saying things like, "They'll believe anything if you cry long enough." Sadness gets clicks, Lauren. You wouldn't understand. You don't have an audience. Then came the screenshots, proof that she'd stolen stories from grieving women in support groups. A clip of her bragging about how pain sells. And finally, the fake accounts, usernames traced back to her own email, commenting under her videos with phrases like, "You're such a strong woman, Linda." By the time I finished, my phone was vibrating nonstop. The video had already hit 10,000 views in the first half hour. And then, my mom called. "Lauren, what have you done?" She screamed. Her voice was unrecognizable. Not the gentle mother everyone saw online, but the one I grew up with. Cold. Furious. "You don't understand what this will do to me," she cried. I held the phone to my ear, feeling tears slip down my face. "Mom," I said quietly, "it's already done. You did this the moment you chose followers over family." She went silent. For a second, I thought she'd hung up. Then she whispered, almost trembling, "I was just trying to feel loved again." I froze. Because even after everything, the lies, the humiliation, I heard a piece of truth in her voice. She wasn't just addicted to attention. She was addicted to the illusion of being cared for. But love built on lies isn't love. It's performance. By morning, the internet had turned. News pages picked up the story. Viral victim mom exposed by her own daughter. People started apologizing in my DMs. Some called me brave. Others admitted they'd fallen for her act. And my mom, she posted one last message before deleting her accounts. Sometimes forgiveness means letting people believe what they want. Then she blocked me. Just like that, it was over. At least the online part was. But inside me, something far deeper was just beginning. A strange mix of grief and relief, mourning the mom I never truly had, and finally breathing without guilt for the first time in years. The silence that followed was louder than all the chaos that came before. For the first time in months, my phone stopped buzzing. No calls, no notifications, no late-night messages begging for explanations. Just quiet. And it was terrifying. I kept expecting my mom to show up at my door or to post something new, twisting the story again. But she didn't. She vanished. Deleted every account. The woman who had lived for attention suddenly disappeared from the very thing that had kept her alive. In the days that followed, the comments shifted. Some people apologized for believing her. Others admitted they couldn't tell what was real anymore. And then there were those who said nothing at all. Family members who'd sent me angry texts before, now too ashamed to speak. Evan eventually called. His voice was soft, uncertain. You were right, he said. I saw the video. I didn't want to believe Mom could do that. She's still our mom, I whispered. But that doesn't mean what she did was okay. He sighed. I know. I just wish she'd loved us the way she pretended to online. That line stayed with me for days. I started therapy, something I'd put off for years because I kept telling myself I could handle it. But healing from someone who raised you isn't simple. It's like learning to walk after growing up underwater. Every step feels unnatural. Sometimes I still scroll through old photos of us, birthdays, graduations, moments that looked happy but weren't. I can see the performance now, the way she positioned herself in every frame to look like the struggling hero. And me? Always the dutiful daughter, smiling just right, so she could post it later with a caption about unconditional love. I don't hate her. I don't think I ever could. But I stopped excusing her, too. Because protecting someone who hurts you isn't loyalty, it's surrender. And for the first time, I decided I wasn't going to surrender anymore. My story wasn't about revenge. It was about reclaiming my voice from the woman who taught me to silence it. And even though the world finally saw the truth, I think the real victory was that I finally did too. It's strange. The kind of peace that comes after the truth finally settles. Not loud, not triumphant, just still. There are mornings now when I wake up and forget about the chaos. No notifications, no arguments, no pretending. I make coffee in silence and watch the sunlight touch the kitchen counter. The same spot where I once stood shaking, reading the lies about me. It feels like another lifetime. Sometimes I wonder if she ever watches my videos now. The quiet ones I post about healing, boundaries, and grief. I don't talk about her by name anymore. I just talk about the things I wish someone had told me sooner. That love isn't meant to hurt. That guilt isn't proof of goodness. That sometimes walking away is the only way to stay sane. Every once in a while, I'll get a message from someone who says, "Your story helped me leave a toxic parent." And every time I read those words, I realize something. Maybe I went through all of it so someone else wouldn't have to feel as alone as I did. I think about my mom's last post. Sometimes forgiveness means letting people believe what they want. Maybe she was right, in a way, because I've learned forgiveness isn't about rewriting the story or pretending it didn't hurt. It's about releasing the need to fix the person who broke you. I've forgiven her, quietly, privately, without needing her to know. But I haven't forgotten, because forgetting means erasing the lesson, and I earned that lesson the hard way. So when people ask if I regret posting the proof, I tell them the truth. No. Because for once in my life, I didn't delete the evidence of what really happened. And this time, I didn't let her delete me either.